Boom.
Yes. What's good, everybody? You know what time of day it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. Clout Chasers here. Cut me and I bleed subscribers. We're back, boy. Playing Sunday against Millwall. Good game to come back at. Away. Interesting to see what develops. There's talks that Firpo might make it onto the bench. Which, you know, with how we are currently at left back, I don't think that'd be a bad shout. Just have a little look at Mandingo, see what he's been up to. The dog. Quick ship vid. So this bloke's gone to jail. I haven't been online since that. So he's got 12 weeks for, well, not allegedly, he's pleaded guilty to assaulting Eddie Howe. Now then. What's everybody saying on this? I think it's a little bit wild. I think you could do significantly worse to people and nothing happens. I mean, I don't know what'll happen to that bloke, that Tottenham fan wanted that punched Henderson, Arsenal keeper or whatever. I don't know whether that's still ongoing. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is, there's plenty of stuff happens at football games. 12 weeks, he put his hand on Eddie Howe's shoulder, didn't he? Now, he should never do that. And he should probably never go to a football game again. Because I understand you have to set some sort of a standard and a precedent and scare people away from doing crazy things like that. But he's had a moment of madness, hasn't he? I don't know the bloke, but it just seems strong to put him in jail. I remember when it happened, I actually said to this lad, Boozer, because he went, it's fucking giving it, it's a fucking disgrace, it's fucking, he deserves everything he gets, should lose his job, he should go. Now, you want him to lose his job, lose his livelihood over jumping down onto a football pitch and touching somebody that they deem important on the shoulder. I just think everybody's a little bit come on, big lad, have you never done alt daft? But it is what it is. He shouldn't do it. So, you take the crazy. I think it's a crazy punishment, but you take the crazy punishment. That's what happens when you do something a little bit crazy. They're going to come and hit you with something even more crazy, I suppose. Just a bit of community service and a fine. Don't go to the game again. You're not allowed to a football game again. I think that's a suffice punishment, You can go out and lay somebody out on a night out and no one gives a shit. So I just think it's strong. Costa, my man Elder Costa, has apparently been told to quit. He's obviously didn't get his move. He's been told to do one, but he's obviously not going to do that due to the fact that he'll be terminating his contract. I think that's probably what they were hoping he were going to do and just leave. And then because obviously if the club terminate the contract, there'll be some compensation involved. I think if he terminates the contract, there's no compensation involved. So like when Ronaldo left Scum, they obviously came to some sort of an agreement, didn't they, where he could leave. So there was a bit of compensation, but not the full whack. Is Dallas being forced to retire? So obviously he's been 17 months out and injured now, and he's put on social media that this is fake news that he's been forced to retire. But I must say, after 17 months, he's 33, I believe. It's going to be extremely difficult for him to get back to anywhere near that level now. Injuries at that age are horrific, and it was a horrendous injury. There's also talks that he got an infection and stuff while recovering. So it's been terrible for him, and obviously I don't want him to retire. I'd love to see him back and see what he's got left. It's just the type of player he is, bombing about, jumping into tackles, strong, it's asking a lot of him. Obviously I hope he gets back. I saw him at Leeds Fest. It looked like having a bit of an argument with Mrs, but he was nice enough. I got a photo with him and what have you. I asked him when he was back, but I think he'd probably been asked that all day, so he wasn't over the moon with that question. There's this kid, Finlay Gorman. So, 14-year-old kid, apparently Scum and Man City are after him. He's banged a couple of goals in for under-18s. A lot of expectation on these young kids. This happens a lot when they drum up this name. I remember Jamie McMaster back in my day when I were only about 8. I remember Jamie McMaster, everybody were banging on about him, and obviously nothing ever came to that. So he went a bit next to Harry Kewell and stuff. And then he never got a look in. It's not like Stephen McPhail got a big... They said he was the next best thing, but Stephen McPhail still had a pretty decent career, so I'm not comparing the two. But it's a lot of pressure on a young kid like that. Hopefully, I wish him the best, just as I would any 14-year-old kid. But it's too much when it gets pushed into journalists like that, I believe. And finally, Phil A has mentioned that he's concerned that we might get stuck in Championship with all the money being spent in Saudi and stuff, and how we're not the biggest club in the world, basically. Now, I said this a few years ago to some older chaps, some older gentlemen in the boozer, in the ale house, and they disagreed with me massively. But I don't think it's really got anything to do with the amount of money that you spend. I think it's how much interest you drum up. So that's why Man City are massively pushing, as much as they spend a lot of money, but they're massively pushing this image out there. They're sponsored by D Squared, which is a big brand that a lot of young kids will like. Basically, my point was about Leeds is if we don't have any good times in the next, I said this 5 years ago, in the next 15 years, 20 years, the kids will not fall out of love with it, there won't be that like need. When I were a kid, obviously my family watched it, my elder people in my family, my brothers, my dad, my mum loved Leeds football, like everything. So it was like embedded in me. But if that gets diluted over time, you know, you do need good times to keep fan base. It's not just being massive in Leeds. We're always going to be a well-supported club within Leeds. But in terms of around the world, and that's what you have to give Rads, really. He was trying to get he got a deal with Rock Nation and stuff. And he was trying to get us sort of worldwide, a little bit more known in America. We'd always done quite well, like in Australia when we had them links, and then obviously there's Ireland with Ian Hart and Kelly and Kuhl from Australia, Viduka from Australia. So we had them links, so people sort of followed us in that sense. Like I know in Europe we have some like random pockets, like really that we're really well supported, like Sweden or whatever, you know, just like random places. But what I'm saying is I think that's tough to maintain if we're not flying. So I think under Bielsa, if we'd have kept Bielsa for a few more years, I don't just want to bang on about God. Since you're about fucking Bielsa and relentlessly you. But, you know, if we'd have kept that going and just kept that style of playing, it's just anything that gives the young... I'm not going to say what I was going to say, actually, then. I'm definitely not going to say that. But as long as we can keep the youngsters interested, it massively makes a difference. So I don't know whether I've made my point or not there. I'm not going to watch this back to find out, but I'm sure I will get rinsed in the comments if I haven't got it right. I have a new music video, which is just like a freestyle thing. I'm going to post the link below. I would appreciate each and every one of you if you go on and click on it. It's not actually out yet, so it's exclusive for the Leeds boys. But there's it's unlisted. You click on it. If you go and leave us a comment, it's much appreciated. It really helps get me to my place that I need to be, because the YouTube algorithm don't like me, boy.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch. JackCity, bitch. Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask.